Taurus, welcome to your mid-June 2018 tarot reading. It's Raina here. This is the Druid Craft deck that I'm using, so a little change of pace. I like this light. It's nice and makes things nice and well defined. I'm going to cut this and then pick this card. Oh, what a nice card, the star card. We have quite a few. I've only picked 6 cards, 3 major arcana cards. So that could be significant end to the month. The focus of all of this in this last half of June for you, Taurus, is the Lord, which corresponds to the Emperor card. And I like this depiction. It's kind of funny, to me at least. But the Emperor, I'm just going to refer to it because that's how you're probably used to hearing about it, is someone, it could be a male Aries person. It corresponds to that sign particularly. I always connect it to Capricorn because it has to do with this person who is in this position of authority who makes important decisions. So it can't, well, that's just one possibility. So it can be someone who is like a judge. So this could be like a legal case, maybe a legal decision. In some instances, this can be someone who works in law enforcement or the fire department. I was saying the fire department. I was actually thinking about the military. And sometimes we're talking about an energy of a person who is very rigid in their thinking, very black and white. This is good, this is bad. And it's not so much being ethical as being maybe even like judgmental and always kind of saying, oh, you're doing this wrong, authoritarian. I think that's a good way of putting it. And this person maybe creating problems in your life if you don't like that type of personality trait. But you know, this is a good card for taking control of your life. So that might be something that has been going on too. It would depend on what's been happening earlier in the month. Actually, interestingly, I mean, this is kind of the energy coming into that current situation. The High Priestess is almost like, you know, reclaiming your spiritual power. And that is what is, you know, making you feel more powerful in general. So maybe you've had kind of a spiritual rebirth of some sort, Taurus. And interestingly, yes, we just had Uranus go into your sign. So that could be an indication. Uranus is like a psychic influence too. So maybe you are feeling more intuitive in general, and that's making you feel less confused in your life and more like you know which way you're going in. So like reconnecting with the divine, with your higher self, could be what has empowered you. And then we have the card that talks about from a spiritual perspective, the 7 of Wands. So yes, if this is a personal relationship, actually, you know, come to think of it, it doesn't have to be. It could be a professional. This could be your boss. And the 7 of Wands, you see how in this particular, I think this is a good one because they're actually showing the enemy, the person who this person is kind of fighting against, defending themselves against. the Seven of Wands is about being in a defensive posture. So this Lord character, whoever it is for you, this Emperor, may be somebody who you are standing up to finally. So whether it's a partner who you let walk all over you and now you kind of feel more empowered, or if it's a boss, sometimes with this type of person, when I think of the Seven of Wands, I think of the other person trying to create a scenario where the person always feels under attack and they feel like they have to defend themselves. And this is exactly what that person wants, because they feel like if they can keep you defending yourself, then they have power over you. And with the High Priestess, I think it's very important to note that whatever has transpired, you, Taurus, are probably in a position where you really feel like it's like you're connecting to your higher self, and that is kind of your ultimate weapon, not anything, physical, something spiritual. It's like a spiritual shield that protects you from other people's attacks. And also, I think too, knowing yourself, knowing the true self, the higher self. And so you may realize that, because this is the spiritual message, the Seven of Wands. So it's almost like reflecting on the situation and saying, this has always been a thing, and now I'm finally realizing what this person, the effect it's had on my life. And it's kind of like eye-opening. What crosses you is the Four of Cups. So basically, this card it can have different meanings, but one of them that is very common is talking about this idea of dissatisfaction in life. And when you're dissatisfied, some people are very kind of go get them, you know what I mean? They just they'll take action. I think of Aries people, like if they're not satisfied with something, they might even, sometimes jump the gun just because they have one bad day. Okay, that's it. And you're very patient, right? So you will tolerate bad behavior on and on, because you know that sometimes, things happen. I mean, that can be a very good quality, actually, because it allows a Taurus person to be very consistent and dependable. People know that you're not going to quit on them. And so there's definitely good qualities. And plus, just it builds up your sense of tolerance, where you're able to withstand things that are not that pleasant sometimes. But everyone has their breaking point. And the Four of Cups, is really about not tolerating your unhappiness, not becoming too comfortable with it, because it represents dissatisfaction, right? But that doesn't mean that when somebody's dissatisfied, they necessarily take action. And there's also an inertia that I associate with the Four of Cups. This is going to be primarily a feeling sensation more than any other aspect of your life. But sometimes when people feel dissatisfied, they just become numb and complacent, and they don't take action. Actually, the more bored and dissatisfied they get, the more they kind of become more into that inertia, and that can of course lead to just not taking action when you should. So that's the only challenge, is to have a point that you're not willing to be unhappy for one more day. If there's some dissatisfaction you have with this person, and whoever he is in your life, I think also the Emperor could be the father. So if if your father is somehow playing a big role in your life now, if you live with him, maybe you move back home, and you know that has its own challenges, because then you're like, you've been away for a long time and now you're coming back and you have to get what are your roles now that you're an adult, and they're still treating you like you're, a teenager. So yeah, anything like that. It's just realizing when it's time to move on and not allow, make your happiness a priority. What is coming in is represented by the Queen of Cups. And this is a very spiritual card. They also depict her with her foot in the water, along with that. Oh, is that a sun? No, I guess it's a moon. Which the moon is it was so bright I thought it was some kind of a sun. The moon is also a symbol of intuition. This is a very psychic card, or psychic activity. And the chalice. And so look at this. This is another card like the High Priestess, Taurus, that is a spiritual card, psychic activity, a lot of intuitive hits, and like allowing that part of you to guide your actions, trusting in God and your own divinely guided intuition, and feeling that sense of that you're being led in the right direction in your life. It's interesting because then I got as the outcome the Star card. Now, what makes this interesting is I'm wondering if this is a father figure. Maybe your father has crossed over, Taurus, and you are going to get some kind of contact with him. I'm not saying like, a vision, but like he's pulling the strings or helping you in some way if you're going through any kind of a problem in your life, because it's very, the Star card is connected to Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So there's that Uranian connection again. I said Taurus, you have Uranus in your sign now. And this just happened recently that the transit began. So this could have an influence on some Taurians where you are interested in astrology or other types of intuitive arts. And that kind of like is a new field for you, because we do have a couple of other cards. So this may be like professional kinds of things that are connected here. But regardless, there might be someone like a crossed over loved one, a father or father figure or grandfather, who you really feel their presence very strongly. You think that they're doing something for you. The Star card is this feeling of healing, of your hope is restored. You may have gone through a lot of hard times recently, Taurus, at least some of you, that it feels like a relief. You feel like, maybe before, I think, with the Four of Cups, there's this tendency to feel like a person has lost hope and is questioning whether or not they can ever find love again, or find the kind of job where they feel that they're comfortable in, because it's not just about you being employed. You want to be happy where you are. You want to feel appreciated. I think with the Seven of Wands, there sometimes is a feeling of a lack of appreciation, that they're not seeing you as you really are, and they're not like acknowledging your contributions. And so anyway, that's really wonderful, Taurus. I hope that you enjoyed this update. If you'd like a private reading, the link to my website is below. God bless. Bye.